Okay, the second part of 8.1 is on multiplying fractions. When you multiply fractions, basically you multiply straight across. And here's the concept of that. Remember that if you were to take 8 over b times c over d, all you do is it's the same as a times c over b times d. Basically, the factors a and c are still on the top, the factors b and d are still on the bottom, and you can simplify. You don't actually have to multiply, physically multiply before you simplify. You can just factor it out and simplify. Now, these 4 examples in example 4 don't really have any plus or minus signs, so they're all factors. So once you look at this and you see, oh, these are all times, there's no plus or minus signs in here, you can just go ahead and spread them apart and factor. Okay, so for example, in 4a here, you have factors of 12, which of course are 2 times 2 times 3. You've got 3 factors of c. You've got 2 factors of d. You've got another 2 and a 7 for 14. You have an a squared and you have a b. Okay, so all of those factors are in the numerator. The denominator has a 3 and a 7, an a and a b. Now I always like to put time signs in between, kind of separates the factors out like this. 8 we have a 2 cubed, c squared, and a d. So anytime you have the number of factors on the top as the same as the number on the bottom, you can cancel those out. Now, sometimes they're grouped as in with exponents, and sometimes they're separate. Like I have 3 2's on the top. Well, that cancels the 2 cubed on the bottom. This 3 cancels this 3. This 7 cancels this 7. I have 1 a on the bottom and 2 a's on the top. So 1 a will eliminate one of those a's. I have a b on the top and a b on the bottom. I have a d on the bottom, 2 on the top, and I have 2 c's on the bottom and 1 c on the top. So it looks like my final answer is going to be, after canceling everything out, I have 1a on the top, I have 1c, and 1d. There is nothing left on the bottom, so it's just a, c, d. That is my final simplified answer. Okay, let's do that again. It's actually kind of fun as long as you know how to factor and you can just eliminate. You're basically making things simpler or easier. So, all right, next one, 2 times 3 times x times y for this numerator. I've got 3 times 7 times a cubed for this numerator. I've got a 3 times 5 times a times b squared. And then I have a 3 times 2 times x to the 4th times y for this denominator. All right, so I basically, like I said, just factored everything out, spread it out, eliminate what I can. So a 3 there. I have another 3. I have another 2. I have a single y top and bottom. I have a single a on the bottom, so that makes this 2 left. I have a single x on the top, that makes this a 3 left. So try not to lose track of what you have. I have a 7 and an a squared left on the top. I have a 3, a 5, a b squared, and an x cubed on the bottom. So that's 15b squared x cubed. Okay, that's multiplying. Dividing is very similar. When you divide, you are basically multiplying by the reciprocal. Remember that when you take a over b divided by c over d, you basically multiply a over b times d over c. You switch the c and the d around, the second fraction. So then this is just ad over bc. Now, So when I factor, like I did over on the left here, I'm going to actually factor the second fraction, but putting the top factors on the bottom and the bottom factors on the top. I'm switching it at the same time that I'm factoring. Okay, so here I have, let's see, 2 to the 4th for the top. So I'm factoring this one. I've got an m and a t squared. The bottom, I have a 3, a 7, an a to the 4th, and a b cubed. This one goes to the top, so I have a 7, an a squared, and a b squared. And then this one goes to the bottom, which is a 2 cubed times 3 times m cubed. Okay, so basically this one is coming down here, and the top one here comes down to the bottom. So now as long as I factor, I can simplify. I've got 3 2's here, and I've got 4 up here, leaving me with 1 left. I've got a 7 and a 7. I got 2 A's there, leaving me 2 here. I've got 2 B's here, leaving me with 1 there. I've got a 1M, leaving me with 2. And as far as I can see, maybe I'm missing something, I've got a 2 on the top, a t squared on the top, and looks like that's it. The bottom, I have a 3 and another 3, so that would be 9. A to the second, b to the first, m to the second. A to the second, b to the first, m to the second. Always double check everything. It's easy to lose factors when you're crossing things off. All right, the next one here, we'll put this one on the top and this one on the top. So our numerator is going to be 2 squared times 3 times x to the 4th y to the 2nd times 2 to the 4th a to the 2nd x. Then we'll put these on the bottom. I end up with 2 squared, let's see, no, that would be 8 times 5. So 2 cubed times 5 times a to the 4th, b to the 4th, times 2 times 3 times x squared times y to the 4th. Okay, so lots of factors there. We just need to make sure we are careful. Okay, so here, all in all, I have 3 2's down here and another 2. So that's 4 2's. So those 4 2's will cancel out those 4 2's. Let's see, a 3 and a 3. I have an x to the 4th plus 1 more is x to the 5th. So that means I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to start writing down. So that those 2's cancel, leaving me with 2 squared up top, which is 4. The 3's are gone. I have 5 x's on the top, 2 on the bottom. That leaves me with 3 x's on the top. I have 2 y's here, 4 y's here, leaves me with a y squared on the bottom. There's nothing that cancels out any b's, so I have a b to the 4th on the bottom. And then I'm left with my 5 on the bottom. I didn't see that, but now I do. And then I have 2 a's up top, 4 on the bottom, so that's leaving me a squared on the bottom. So there's my final answer. Can be kind of confusing and okay, now when you get to ones like example 5, you notice they have plus and minus signs. When they have plus and minus signs, you have to be careful how you factor. You should be able to factor these nicely. 8x minus 20, I'm going to take out a 4, leaves me with 2x minus 5. So this one here is going right here. This one here is coming to the top as well. That leaves me with x plus 5, minus 5, and x minus 2. This one stays on the bottom over here, so it's x and x plus 7 minus 5. And then this one I can take out a 4. Let's do that right here. Take out a 4, I get x squared minus 4. So it's a 4, an x minus 2, and an x plus 2, because that's a difference of 2 squares. Again, just factor as careful as possible. So you have x minus 2's, x minus 5, 4's. So it leaves me with a 2x minus 5 on the top, an x plus 7, and an x plus 2 on the bottom. And you can leave the denominators in factored form. Numerator's fine as well, as long as there's no factors still that are the same. Again, when you factor or divide, the second fraction you flip. So when I take and put the factors of this top goes to the top, and of this bottom also goes to the top. So let's try that. X minus 4, x minus 5, 6, and an x plus 7. This one goes to the bottom, so we have x plus 3, x plus 7. And this one is x minus 4, x plus 3. All right, cancel those out. We have x minus 4 is the same, x plus 7's are the same, leaves me with a 6, an x minus 5 on the top, and an x plus 3 quantities squared on the bottom. All right, the last step of this whole section is called complex fractions. And basically we're doing the same thing as dividing, because you have one fraction divided by another. So basically here's the concept. If you have a over b over c over d, we already talked about the fact that it's a over b divided by c over d, which is a over b times d over c, which is ad over bc. Now, that concept is easy. Once you have one fraction on the top, one fraction on the bottom, you can go ahead and just rewrite it like this. So for example, on this one, we're going to put a and d on the top. So x minus 2 squared times 4, or no, I'm sorry, times 2 times 2x minus 5 on the top. The bottom is going to be b times c. So 2x minus 4, x minus 1, x minus 2, and x plus 2. Okay, now that we have everything just like we did before, we can cancel out anything so there's 1x minus 2 here, there's 2 of them there, and the 2's cancel, otherwise everything else stays. And there you go. Oh, I forgot my x minus 2 up top. There you go. That's it. Okay, same thing here. We're going to factor. A times d is on the top, so this is x minus y, x plus y, because that's a difference of 2 squares. This one is just y plus 7. This one is a difference of 2 squares, y plus 7, y minus 7. And then it's y minus x. So since y minus x is the opposite of x minus y, I'm going to factor out a -1 and make it an x minus y instead. Cancel those out, leaves me with x plus y over y minus 7. And you can either put a negative out front because of the -1, or distribute it through the top and get negative x minus y over y minus 7.